Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you joining me today because we are going to have some fun, by God, if we can. That's going to be all about AWS today. I've done some fun with AWS in my day job. Figure why not bring some of that to the old YouTubes, right? Have a good time with AWS, share with you good folks out there. And before we get into that though, if you would, as I normally do, implore you to find that like and subscribe button and give that an old smackaroo. And don't forget the comments section, right? If you check out just about any one of my videos and you look in the comments section below, you'll notice I'm pretty active there. If you post something, there's a high probability that this guy will actually reply to you. Unless you put something weird, which I do get from time to time. Non sequiturs, random things that don't make any sense. My favorite is subjective questions. Those are always great. Weird links are also not good. So don't do those things. But good questions that are pertinent to the topic, suggestions, just interesting conversation. We like that here. So join us, if you would. Comments. There you go. Anyway, let's jump into the computer here and look at what we're going to do today, which is FLAWS2. FLAWS, as you might have guessed from the giant text there, is all about AWS security. It's from these good folks at Summit Route. They are also the makers of the original FLAWS.cloud platform. You'll notice this is FLAWS2.cloud. So, hey, thank you so much out there, you good folks at Summit Route, for making these cool challenges available to us, because that's what this is. And you can see, welcome to the FLAWS2 challenge, similar to the FLAWS.cloud challenge, which if you haven't done, I implore you to go play with that. It's a lot of fun, and it's a game that's meant to teach you about AWS security concepts. This is my favorite part of this. It says the challenges are focused on AWS specific issues, so no buffer overflows, cross-site scripting, etc. This is all about AWS and learning about security that is inherent to the AWS platform, okay? Not, oh, I built a web app and put it in AWS and that's how I'm serving it, is through that means and you know found a cross-site scripting vulnerability or whatever, right? This is all about actually going after AWS as a platform and a service. Okay. It also says this, FLAWS2 has two paths this time, attacker and defender. Previous FLAWS, it was just attacker, but this time they have defender as well. It says in the attacker path, you'll exploit your way through misconfigurations in things like serverless Lambda and containers. Specifically, it says ECS Fargates. And then in the defender path, that target is now viewed as the victim, and you'll work as an incident responder for that same app, understanding how the attack happened. You'll get access to logs of previous successful attack. As a defender, you'll learn the power of JQ, which is actually a really cool little tool. If you've never used that before, I don't even know if I have installed on this specific VM, but if not, you can always fix that. And analyzing laws, instructions on how to set up Athena and your own environment. So really cool stuff. If you wanted to go down that role, honestly, it's kind of interesting. I might end up doing that one day. Not today. Today, you know, I enjoy that perfect shade of crimson when it comes to my security. I am the red teamer at heart, so I want to choose my destiny and go for that attacker challenge, right? And it does say I recommend first playing the attacker side and then going back and playing the defender side. So we're doing it the right way. We're following the bouncing ball, which is pretend we are attackers and go down that route. So I've already clicked on that link. I've just already got it open here, so I'm trying to keep things organized. And that lands us on level 1. Level 1, for this level, you'll need to enter the correct PIN code. The correct PIN is 100 digits long, so brute forcing won't help. We've got a code that's already put in. We've got a submit button and hints at the bottom if we need them. Tasty. Not a beer. Or is it? Who knows? Anyway, let's see here. So let's just play with this and see what it does, because that's what you do when you find a web app. You turn the knobs and push the buttons. Look at the blinky lights. And here's a blinky light, tells me incorrect. Try again. Right, because it says the pin is 100 digits long and 1, 2, 3, 4 is not 100 digits long. I still like to do just like whatever, just to kind of get an idea of how the thing works. What happens if I change this? Hit submit. I get a pop-up. It says level 1.flaws2.cloud. Code must be a number, which is 20. But that's what it says. It just says code must be a number. All right, so I got a web application. Next thing I should do, now that I kind of got some basic operation here, is I'm going to right click and hit view page source. It's going to bring us to obviously the page source once that gets going. But interesting is that pop-up, because that pop-up is JavaScript. I don't know why that ain't going. Come on. You can do it, little computer. Anyway, while that's doing that, we'll come back over here. Right? So when I hit the submit button, that pop-up jumps up, just like it's like an alert box in JavaScript. And it's alerting me that the code must be a number. So I'm gonna hit OK. This is still not happening. It's like it doesn't have the thing. What is it? What is going on here? Okay, weird. I'm gonna try that again. View page source. If you would be so kind. Okay. What in the world is happening? All right, let's try another way. I'm going to do Shift Control I and bring up the inspection tools, or the what do they call the developer tools? I say inspection tools. The inspector is typically where you land on right out of the gate, and you can kind of fiddle with this stuff and look through and actually see the code. Right, so I'm going to kind of bounce through here, and I want to see if what I'm thinking is right. So we've got a container, navbar. I don't know why the source code isn't showing up though. It's just going crazy. Navbar, more navbar stuff. I just kind of like look through here. It's looking good. Nothing crazy. Look in this content section A, where we have a container. We've got a row. We've got a column. It's kind of just what might this be? Young good sir, madam, whoever you might be. Script text equals JavaScript. What I tell you, right? Between some script tags. How about that? Who would have thought? Right? And here we go. I'm gonna move this over some more. Give us some better looking information here. If window.location.search.substring includes incorrect, document element correct equals blah 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 border. That is an interesting thing. So we do have JavaScript here, but I'm not really seeing it. I want to see that code. I want source code. View page source. Do it now. I'm losing my mind. I'm just going to grab this. No, too much. Just HTML. Copy. Let's see what happens if I do this. View. Was it the view dash source? Hey! Welcome to the show. Man, you know what I love? Computers. Because they do the thing that they're supposed to do 100% of the time. That's called a lie. Anyway, so now that we can actually see this, it should look a little bit different. We do know there is a section. Yeah, it's all looking familiar. Bada bing. JavaScript. Function. Validate form. Oh, see, they're doing some form validation, which is exactly what we saw, which is why I was saying, hey, you put a bunch of A's, and I'm expecting a number. A's, last time I checked, not a number. And it says right here, variable of code equals, and that's just the variable name is code, equals document.forms, and it's pulling from my form and code, and then running the method value. If parse float, so we got a couple of things going on here. We've got code being kind of slammed into parse float, and this looks like is NaN. maybe not a number. I don't know. I'm not 100% on what JavaScript is NaN is under, all this stuff. But I do see that it looks like it's saying if the code, right, is not a number, and you can parse that by seeing if it is a float digit, right? And, right, so we got a logical and is finite, right? You can see code is getting passed to that method, function, whatever it is as well. Then alert, code must be a number, and return false. So we hit on one of these, right? Or both of them, because they both must be true, and a logical and it was true, right? It checked to see if it was a number, it was not a number, and therefore we got the alert. So, okay, this is making my brain think-a-roo. Let's think together. Bring it in. Campfire meeting. The web application is looking for a PIN of 100 digits, which it tells us we cannot brute force, which it's just impossible. Which is probably true, because 100 digits brute forcing is a bit of a ridiculousness. That said, we tried to feed it some A's and it found out it wasn't a number, right? It was like, hey, you can't do that. I'm expecting a number. So it errored correctly. It was doing input validation, right? It wasn't trusting me as it should. That is good security as far as the web app goes. But I really think that we can bypass that, because if this JavaScript never gets run, right? Because this is done kind of like in the page at runtime. So when you put in a number and hit submit, that happens in the DOM, in the document object, not the actual like site that's loaded onto your web browser. It's not doing it in the back end. It's doing it right there. So if I can bypass that, I should be able to send it something that is not a number. And if I can do that, maybe we can make it error in a way that it shouldn't. I'm guessing that's what we're doing. All right. Let's jump back over here into our developer tools. Now, cool thing about your developer tools, especially in Firefox, I really don't have a lot of experience in Chrome, so if you're using Chrome, your mileage may vary on what I'm doing. I don't know where that stuff is, so don't ask. Google it, right? Google is your friend. Use Google. Where do you do this? Now, normally I would just fire a Burp Suite proxy through that gravy train, right? But let's get back to this thing here. But in Firefox, you have this lovely little network tab right here. You'll notice that is there. And I can perform a request or reload the page to see detailed information about network activity. Kind of works like a really quick and dirty responder in Burp Suite. I can even modify and resend requests using this tool in Firefox's developer tools. So if I just hit reload, right, you start to see, hey, look, we've got this incorrect, blah, 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 right? And then it's running it again. We got it incorrect. And all the kind of network calls that it made. These are the GET requests. You can see method right there. GET, status 200, right? Where it went to, what was the domain, what was the type? It was an HTML file. Was it transferred? It was cached. Cool. But if I come back here and I type in, hit submit again, I should see all of that it does. Just make sure I'm catching everything. You'll notice I have a new GET request right here. This is where it gets fun, because this actually contains the actual request. Now, I can do this one of two ways. I can right click and hit edit and resend, and then I can come over here and I can modify this query string. I'm scrolling. There we go. I can modify this query string right here. And bing, 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 bing. Or I can just grab this request. You'll notice there's the GET request. And there. Can I not just double click? Triple click. Hey. Scroll. Golly. And there you go. I can just grab that and throw that in the browser and make the request that way. What do I want to do? I'll do it here. So I'm just going to hit send. I changed the query string from 1, 2, 3, 4 to a couple of A's. Hit send. Come back. Aha. You'll notice under the statuses, I've got this 500 status, which lets me know that is a server-side error. right? That is a server error. And then if I click on this, I can see under the response what that error was, which is a lot of stuff about AWS, which this is not good. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to resend this request again because I want to grab that. So I'm going to hit edit and resend. I'm just going to grab this, triple click this request. There we go. So highlight, copy, a new tab, paste it in, paste and go. Booyah. Okay, we got raw data. Let's go look at the raw data. Look at that raw data. Error, malformed input. You know it, because that's how we get down. AWS execution environment lets me know that it's Lambda running Node.js 8.10. We got a Lambda log group name, which is AWS Lambda level 1. This is all fun. This is probably not good that I'm seeing all these things. This is the boom. Did I say we were gonna have fun today? I think we're there because look right there. AWS Secret Access. This is a little freaky. Let me do this. Hopefully it works. No, I don't unselect, right click, view page source. Yay, look at that. It actually worked this time. And that way I don't have to, I'm not wrapping long lines. I think that's good. Ooh. That's not right. Access key ID. Uh-oh. We got a problem. That's the AWS secret key right there. And then of course we got the session token. We have things. We have lovely things. We have a bunch of stuff that we can use to actually access AWS in their account. This is not my stuff. This is their stuff. So if we put all this together, we can start trying to pilfer the pockets of this horrible individual who has unfortunately used a very weak mechanism to keep us from doing security things, right? Let's go back. So let's grab all this stuff. Let's create a profile in AWS-CLI. Use that to start seeing what we can enumerate out of their actual environment. Okay, let's jump into a terminal. What I need to do is do AWS. If you don't have the AWS-CLI installed, just do apt install AWS-CLI, like that. Fire and forget. I've already got it installed, so I can just run it. AWS. Now, in your home directory, you should have an ls, so pwd, right? I am in my home directory. This will be true for your home directory, so you can always use the tilde as a shortcut. So if you use AWS, or I'm sorry, I'm going to nano this. No, I'm not. On AWS, we have to configure. We have to create a profile. I'm carting a horse in the wrong spot. AWS configure, once you've got it installed, -- profile to create a profile with a profile name. Otherwise, it'll be the default profile, which I don't want. And I'll call this FLAWS2 Level 1. Yeah? Just call it FLAWS2. That's easy. No, I'm going to put L1. That way, if I keep it around and I do other challenges later, I don't get confused. Bam. So it's going to ask me for this. Ask me for the secret access key ID, which is going to be right here, secret key ID, just in case you can't see that. And then I'm just going to grab this between these two pieces. You'll notice it just looks very much like JSON because it is very much JSON. Copy, go back, Shift Control V that in there. Then it's going to want the secret access key, which I also saw right around this region, secret access key. And I do recommend swipe highlighting and not triple clicking or whatever, because that doesn't always grab all the characters. So I'm going to copy that. Just make sure you got between the two quotations, right? Go back, Shift Control V that. Set the US East 1, that's fine, and none. If yours said none for the default region, we did see that the US East 1 was the region. I saw that in here somewhere. Now, of course, I've got it all hugified. But I am going to need this AWS session token. Right there, right? I need to add that to the file that holds all that information that I just used the AWS configure option with. So let's do that. This is where I was talking about before. Is where I was getting the cart before the horse. If you do nano-/.aws, in there should be a file called credentials. And now we can modify it, which I need to do. I need to add that AWS _session _ was it token? It tells us what it's called. Thank you for labels. Yeah, session token. And then I'm going to need to grab everything between the ears, also known as, keep swiping, you're almost, there it is. Everything between the double quotation marks. It's a long string of text, so make sure you get it all and not anything more or less. Copy that, come back to here, and then I can just say equals, shift control V. We've got to paste it in, control S. So save that, exit out. Now we should be able to use our credentials. Let's clear this. And from here, we can just AWS. So AWS, give it the profile name with -- profile. We called it FLAWS2 _L1. And now we can start to do things like, I want to see if I can list S3 buckets. So S3 is my service. LS is the command, which is to list. Fire away. It tells me I'm getting access denied. So I can't list this specific bucket. Now, one thing I typically do is I'll try IAM stuff, right? You can do AWS -- profile FLAWS2 _L1 IAM. So IAM is the service, right? And I can do a lot of there's a lot of list and get stuff. List is a really good way to start. So list dash and just tab complete. And eventually, yeah, there we go. We got a bunch of tab completed stuff. Some of the really good ones are going to be list attached role and user policies. Sometimes group policy is a good one for that. Those are the ones that I like. I like list users if I can get that. List user policies, also a good one. List roles and role policies. Can you do list policies? Yeah, you can do list policies, also another really good one. So you can kind of work your way through these things and see what's going on. Another good thing to do is to get your username. So STS get caller identity, right? Yeah, caller identity. I'm gonna fire that one off. And this should get the actual username for these keys, which is level 1. All right. So I got an access denied. Let's verify that we're actually working with the S3 bucket. Maybe I don't have access to S3. Let's do nslookup, and it was level 1.flaws2.cloud, I believe. We'll see. Yeah. That's it. And then I can grab this IP address, copy that, and I will do nslookup on that. On bada bing, fire. And yeah, we are definitely working with an S3 bucket. All right, so I can't just list all the S3 buckets, right? Because that's what I got was, hey, you can't, it's access denied on listing all S3 buckets. But we know this is an S3 website, so maybe we can list this specific S3 bucket. Let's try that. So let's do, I'm just gonna kind of bring that back up through using the up key. Where's that? There we go. LS, and then it's S3 : / oh, it's level 1 dot, what is the name of it? FLAWS2.cloud. Bam. No such bucket. Okay. Oh, maybe it's, so there is a level 1 dot, is it S3.AWS, Amazon AWS.com? Yes? No such bucket. I thought that website was the bucket. Level 1 flaws.cloud. Level 1 flaws2.cloud. Is that what I did? Typo. Bam. Because I'm like that. I'm pretty sure that's in S3. FLAWS2.cloud. There we go. Hey, look at that there. We did some things. We're listing S3 contents that we ain't supposed to be doing, but that's how we get down, right? So we have this. I don't know if you noticed that right there. That looks like a secret because it says secret. Obviously, that's not normally how things are labeled, but they are in this case. I do see that all these are like HTML files. These are all the hints that I could have used for this bucket or this challenge. But I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go back to the browser. Oh my goodness, right? I'm back in the browser. I'm going to close this. I'm Vinny Barbarino. And up in the URL, the address bar, I'm going to leave level1.flaws2.cloud. I'm going to remove everything else and just add that. So Control V, that secret, the thing that I copied, that page. Hit enter and wait for it. There it is, level 1, right? The next level is at this. I can click on that link and I and you as well, along with me, have made it to level 2. Yeah, all right. Good for us. We had some fun. Like I said, we're going to have some fun today. I sure had some fun. I like stuff like this. A good challenge. Never hurt anybody. Learn some interesting things as well. Like, hey, don't discount those dev tools. They're really useful. And you don't have to always fire up burp to do some certain things like edits and resend requests. You can just do that right in there. That was a great one. Played a little bit around a little bit with AWS-CLI. Learned about that and had some fun in there. And yeah, that is good stuff. I will give you a hint, just something I just thought off the top of my head. When it comes to AWS tokens, those session tokens, if you got to remember, those are for a specific time frame. So if you don't use them, or if you do something else in that place and regenerate another token, it will regenerate another token, and your keys are now invalid. You have to go back, copy keys, tokens, the whole 9 yards, and redo it again. So if you get stuck there, that might be a good place to start. Make sure that stuff is fresh and use them as you get them. So that's just my experience has taught me that. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me today. Hope you had fun with AWS and FLAWS2. Thanks, Summit Route, for making that stuff available. I can't wait to play around with level 2 and see what happens there, and level 3, and so on and so forth. I don't know how many levels there are, but I'm on level 2. Play around with that and have some more fun with you good folks. Until next time, though, keep hacking.